GM servers. Welcome back to another tutorial. And in this tutorial, we're going to go through the basics of working with our newly released OpenServ skills and also our revamped agent SDK and also our new client package. All right. To begin with, let's understand how do these skills work and what are the new OpenServ skills. So we have released 5 different categories of OpenServ skills, 5 different skills. And out of that, we can put together all 3 of these skills in a single category of core skills for agentic development. And the client skill out here is going to have all the different functions and all the different functionalities required for being able to build workflows and authenticate from scratch, either with your own wallet, bring your own key, or a fresh wallet using provision. And we've got triggers, either webhook or cron, or also X402 inbuilt into the trigger that also creates a paywall URL within a few seconds. And we have also got ERC8004 embedded directly onto the triggers. And further, we've got the multi-agent workflow skill, which is an extension of the client skill, where we've got some key examples of how you can work with multiple agents, bring them together and connect them together and orchestrate them. And then the OpenServ agent SDK skill is going to encompass all the functions for being able to build fully customized agents, which can either be hosted by you or in local development. You don't have to use ngrok anymore. You can directly use our proxy and start playing around with it. And we have also got 2 other skills which are associated with our Launchpad. So the OpenServ launch skill gives the ability to your agents to be able to deploy tokens. And also the idea board API skill is for being able to post ideas which your agents can work on. And if they want to further launch a token, they can go ahead and use the launch skill. So these are the main aspects of the skills that we released recently. And these skills make development in general and also with AI so much more easier, so much more faster. I would say at least 10x faster and easier. And we're super excited about what you'll cook with it. And further, we have also mentioned some examples of how you can put together some specific use cases, or, based on the idea you have in mind, how you can use different skills together, and further a deep dive of all the different functions that are present within these skills. Let's move on to the next section. So in terms of how you can use these skills in any IDE, if you're developing as a developer, you can add these skills in multiple ways. You can either use ClawHub directly in terms of installing them by mentioning the name of the skills, or you can also clone it directly onto your project directory. If you don't want to install or add it locally, you can always copy the direct URL on GitHub and the exact skill you want to reference and paste it in the IDE chat, like in Cursor or Anti-Gravity, or let's say Codex, etc., or Cloud Code. And that's the phase 1 of adding and referencing the skills to the AI agent that you're working with. And then we've got the setup and authentication aspect, where there are 2 specific scenarios. You can either start fresh. We generally recommend you to start with the fresh scenario, as in let the skill itself make a fresh wallet for your agent or for the new project that you're working with. And you can use the private key and import it in your favorite wallet and then fund it with the amount of ETH or USDC you want to fund it based on your requirement. But if you already have an account and you want to use that key, you can always put the private key in the env file with this name for the variable, and it's going to automatically pick it up from there. Just mention it in the chat to the agent. And this is an example prompt, and these are some other points in terms of how they work. You can go through them if you want to, or just reference it to your favorite IDE agent. Further, moving on. In terms of how you can work with OpenClaw by referencing or adding our skills, we have got a comprehensive guide, and not just OpenClaw, but all the examples that we go through in this tutorial are applicable to any kind of IDE or AI agent that you're working with. But surely in this scenario and at this point of time, OpenClaw is probably the most popular one, and we would love to show an example of how you can add the skill and also build a workflow from scratch. So let's go through that example. So let's put our learnings into some practice by getting started with OpenClaw. And if you haven't set up OpenClaw yet, you can go ahead and watch the setup tutorial that we have. Quickly set it up in 5 minutes in an isolated environment or a VPS, and get it running. And assuming that you have already set OpenClaw up and you have access to the web UI or even the chat UI on Telegram, you should be able to start a new session or continue with the old session. And further, just refreshing it. All right, cool. It should say something. It should look something like this. And yeah, cool. Once you have access to the web UI and OpenClaw setup, you can follow through this guide. So let's start with the quick start example. So the phase 1, just similar to any IDE, you just want to set up or install the skills. You can go ahead, and we have broken down all the examples and all the guides in a way you can just copy and paste so that it's easy to follow along. So there are these copy and paste blocks that you can easily use. So copy this command and paste it here. And it's better to add please force install. Gonna add that to the docs too. So yeah. So once we ask it to force install, even if there are warnings, it's gonna just go ahead and install it, because sometimes ClawHub does glitch. But yeah, once you paste that in the chat, it's gonna ideally add it soon. That's the ClawHub option. If you want, you can also use the cloning option by making a project directory. That is also totally fine. It can always reference by cloning through the public repo that we have for the skills, or you can also just always reference it using the links. And in phase 2, in terms of the project setup and authentication, as mentioned previously, you can either bring your own key or go through a fresh start, which is the fastest and the recommended path. Just make a new wallet for the new project, or you can reuse it in the future for sure. But yeah, when you're getting started, you can just go ahead and make a new wallet for your OpenClaw agent to play around with OpenServ. So we can copy this command, and it'll create a folder named OpenServ agents in your OpenClaw workspace. So keep that folder name in mind so that you can reference it in the future. All right, cool. Let's see. Let me wait for this to go through. All right, let's see. Looks like it might have been done. Okay, looks like it's successfully installed. Once that's done, you can always ask for it to confirm. And once you can also go to the skills tab here. Oh yeah, you can see all the skills that have been added into the workspace. Cool. Now that we've confirmed that, let's go ahead and copy this fresh start command and paste it here. All right. And this is gonna take a second, but what's gonna happen here is it's gonna make a new folder just for OpenServ projects or workflows. And it's gonna also make a new agent wallet for being able to interact with OpenServ, and starts with some trial credits, so you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, once that's set up, we can go wild and play around and build some workflows and also agents. Let me wait for it and skip this part. All right, looks like it went through. Okay, let's see. Is it done? Yeah, sometimes it takes a second. And okay, looks good. And in terms of how you can access your account on the UI or just have a look at it by yourself, you just need to grab the private key. And for that, you can ask if you can use your terminal. You can always ask for it in the command that you can use to be able to access your private key that just for the address that it just made. Oh shit. Okay. Looks like it just gave it away. Cool. In some cases, it's just gonna give it away, but oh no. Okay. This not the, okay. Looks like it's a private key. Okay. In some cases, it's just gonna give it away. And, in some cases, it's not gonna give it away, but yeah, looks like this is the address. And then, you can always ask for it to also share it in the chat. And in some cases, it's gonna just return it just like that in plain text, or ask you to just go and SSH. But in this case, let me just grab this to show it. It's anyways just for the demo. Never share your private key. Save it securely. Keep it safe. This is just for demo, for the demo. All right. So let me go ahead and import that over here. You can use MetaMask or any other wallet that supports Ethereum wallets. All right. Go ahead and okay, let me just import that. All right, cool. That's a fresh wallet that I just made, and that's linked to the, it just made an account to, let's go ahead and, connect that wallet. Cool. Let's connect that and then sign it. And there you go. Cool. Looks like, it's all set. And, yeah, there's going to be like a demo workflow created out there, but okay. So now that it's set up and authenticated, we can go ahead and try and build an example workflow. Cool. So here's some more examples of, the prompt structure and some example prompts. You can go ahead and use those. Let's move to the next section for some concrete examples. All right. This is the master template. So in terms of the structure of the prompt, this is just a good practice prompt where we have broken it down to two. The agent guardrails are just some guardrails so that it doesn't hallucinate or doesn't mess up in terms of calling the functions or doing things. So you don't have to worry about this section. It's just a bunch of code things for the agent. While we've got the build request section that you want to customize based on your use case. You can mention a bunch of agents to connect together in a specific fashion, in terms of the way in which the format or the direction in which the data moves, or how do you want to put together these agents, or how do you see them work together. You can mention that in detail and customize this build request prompt in natural language. So that's what you're going to want to focus on and customize based on your requirement. So let's just look at an example, starting with the Nano Banana Pro example to generate an image. Now let's go ahead and copy this prompt and then drop it in the chat. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's change this prompt a little bit to make it simpler. I'm going to update this in the docs so that it's simpler, but yeah, a workflow that uses the agent to create images based on the description by the user. All right. So, it's going to go ahead and also test it once it creates it. Let me just send it. All right. Let's wait for it to go through. It's going to take a second. Okay. So once it goes through, understanding the skills, it's going to understand, code it out, make the new file for the workflow, trigger it, and move it into a running state, and then wait for the response. And Once it gets back the response, ideally it's gonna mention that it's been fired. And we can also see this on the UI that there's a new workflow. Let's just refresh this here. Cool. And we can see that it went through, and as per the output, it triggered it and it went through. All right. So we can also see a little bit about what the process looked like, and then it says it was ready. I mean, it went through, and ideally it should provide the output, or you can just ask, can I see the image URL? And it should ideally share the file. So sometimes it does glitch, but if you ask specifically for the response image URL, you should be able to find it. And there you go. We can access the image that was just generated. Cool. Looks like a cool AI image. And all right. So this is the output. But yeah, this is the example of going from a prompt to a complete workflow where it generates an image based on the description. And this can be triggered over and over by linking it to the backend of your full stack application that requires some kind of image generation, video generation, or some kind of data analysis, or run fetch using specific API and process it and carry out all kinds of things. So moving on, let's look at the same example, but by using an X402 trigger, so that you can directly make a cool workflow with a specific use case and put an X402 endpoint or paywall URL on top of it, without having to know anything about X402 or Web3 or setting things up or coding things out specifically for X402. So let's go to the next section and copy this example here. And cool. We're going to go with the Nano Banana Pro example. So it's going to go ahead and do the same thing, but put an X402 paywall of 0.5, half a dollar, and it's going to share the paywall URL that you can access or share with anyone publicly. All right, let's go ahead. It's going to take a second. Let me skip that. All right. Once it goes through, it's going to look something like this, and it's going to share the paywall URL and also the trigger, which you can integrate with any of your custom front end and, you know, make it an X402 transaction with the click of a button and linking it to this trigger. So that's also possible, but let's just look at the default UI we have made on OpenServ. Cool. It's going to look something like this. You can go ahead, connect your wallet, pay a fee, and give a prompt and call it, and it's going to get back with the image response. All right. And if we want to look at it on the UI, it's going to, let's refresh this. It's going to look like this. And yep, it's put together the same thing, but with an X402 trigger. All right. So these were some basic examples of setting up your OpenClaw with the OpenServ skills, installing them, and then setting up your project, and then trying some of the example prompts for setting up some basic workflows with the marketplace agents we have. And in this basic tutorial, we have just used marketplace agents, which we keep expanding on. We have a plethora of agents serving different purposes like image generation, video generation, and data processing, and all kinds of on-chain data, etc. You can always use those marketplace agents. But further, if you want to extend and use either a basic custom system prompt kind of LLM agent, you can use the client package custom agent example, or you can use the agent SDK example for further customized self-hosted kind of agent to be part of your workspace or use case. So we're going to dive deeper into those examples in the upcoming tutorials. But this basic tutorial basically covered all the basics of knowing how to set things up, add the skills, set up the authentication and the wallet, and further build a workflow real quick with a single prompt, along with the X42 trigger and the paywall URL, which make it so much more easier to put a paywall to your specific workflow or use case. So we're super excited about our new release, and please try it out. Let us know in our Discord or Telegram dev support channel or feedback channel. Let us know how it feels. If you face any issues, we're happy to help you with any errors or any debugging. And yeah, have fun. Thank you very much.